Hi everyone, welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. The date today is 6th of May 2025. I'm the narrator of this video clip and every other video clip on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. Those are the only two platforms that I have on social media, but this is also evidence for my criminal cases in the civil and the criminal jurisdictions. I've still got some matters in the civil jurisdiction. I am self-representing myself. It's my case and it's all about myself. It's all about my entity, my identity, my testimony, which is my personal property, meaning everything is about my existence on earth, the facts coming life in my court cases, and all these information can be used for my court case as evidence. So I will just continue on everything. So what you see on my Facebook page is actually a real life case. Okay, is a self-litigation case in my country in New Zealand. We are allowed to represent ourselves, which I have been doing consistently the cases have actually been going on longer than they should, and it's actually illegal to have any cases to go on as long as I have, but it is a new age system. And I've had to go through it personally to actually discover it's actually the New World Order system. It is a global game system. So if you're unaware of privacy breaches and cybercrime, some say it's all because of online everything. Well, part of it is because social media is the norm now for this generation. However, regardless how breaches are articulated by people, it's still an offence if it causes damage. Home invasion cases, whereas it's affected victims' private life, private everything, their businesses, their personal life, everything. So it's still illegal in any generation. It's just a matter of putting one and two together and linking everything together and finding out who has unlawful access. However, it is a new age system and it's global, and that is a discovery on my personal property. Okay, so basically I'm using posts just so you can get into the mindset of where I'm coming from. More of another way of actually learning and articulating the information that I am talking about, more so in a graphic design, so just for understanding and so you can understand where I'm coming from, because some things are not really easy to explain from my point of view, especially when it comes to things like the law and interpreting it as what it actually means in plain English. Okay, so it's case by case basis in court. When it comes to different cases, no case is exactly the same, but when there's a home invasion like mine, it's a very serious category 4, especially when it's indirect criminal offences caused by privacy breaches. Everything else indirect is broken. All the offences are usually done indirect, and you can end up being enslaved and being personally attacked indirectly, premeditated, everything. Yeah, it's actually more serious and more dangerous than how it used to be, because you have to be aware of, whether you're targeted and the tactics of those opposing allies conspiring to take you down or destroy, to kill, which is exactly what I've actually witnessed personally, historically. So I'm just, doing in the moment evidence to keep everybody in tune with what I'm going through, because I feel this is what I'm supposed to be doing, more for just safety wise, and for those that are actually the good people who are watching and investigating and just watching over me at the moment, and also to help others, to actually get an understanding of the dangers of this world that we're going through at the moment. It is a global game, which makes it more serious, linking with relationship scams, linking to the government. So it is actually a pretty serious case. And so basically I am an introvert. Okay, I've always been an introvert. Ever since I can remember, because that's just my culture. I'm one of these people, I do like solitude. I like being on my own most of the time, because that's what I'm used to. But even when I am on my own at home, I'm usually working, keeping my mind occupied on things that, or putting my energy on things that are, that's important to me. Example, my court cases. So it's got nothing to do with me not wanting to mix with different people. It's just the culture I'm used to, and that's just my part of my personality. Okay, after years and years being subject to the culture and this new age system, while I was working for my employer, what is actually called in the criminal jurisdiction, it is called animate or inanimate. Okay, it's under, I'm just trying to think, I think it's 156 in the Crimes Act, but I didn't even know what that actually meant. But in the modern day terminology, it actually means when other people use a substitute or a subway and everything's deviated or AVL to them. So that's a trafficking ring. Okay, so I've been subject to that by force. This is when people are using another human being and stealing their energy and actually using them for trafficking purposes, whether it's for money laundering, whether it's for relationship scam, or whether just to get their foot in the door into something that they wouldn't be able to get in there otherwise. All by trafficking and using other humans in my environment as an informant or as a spy. So that is my set of circumstance I was subject to historically, and now there's sufficient evidence to prove all that in a criminal jurisdiction. However, I have found during my journey, some people do have, fetish addictions, just like a drug dealer would have an addiction to drugs, or an alcoholic have an addiction to alcohol. What I've gone through personally is absolutely inhumane, and I believe some people that have actually been spying on me have some inhumane fetish addictions, whether it's just ill will mindset of somebody, getting a kick out of abusing an individual, or just the fact of being able to, be addicted to somebody else's energy, somebody else's personality, and wanting to find out all the ins and outs about them illegally. So it is definitely has been illegal scientific experiment, which is actually illegal, and that comes under the Bill of Rights. So what I've gone through, the victims' Bill of Rights and human rights are basically taken away, and then eventually all their personal private property, which is their profile and the existence, gets destroyed, the evidence gets destroyed, and then they can end up being murdered. So historically, I have been used for relationship scams. It's quite obvious. I've been used like an app to promote others, theft of intellectual property, money laundering purposes. So I have been a victim of that. So I'm definitely a victim of crimes. Basically, people have used me like a product. The danger about this is that they will end up using your own family and your those closest to you, and it can eventually eliminate people's bloodline, okay, but because there is an addiction in it, okay, there's an addiction by those who get a kick out of these kind of things, this new age system, just from watching people and studying them under the camera or under surveillance. I believe the scientific experiment while I was working for my employer It was all done by under the camera, and the court staff used to harass me and follow me around the building. Over time, eventually, common sense, we know that's something, that's going to be a very serious thing for somebody, and whether it be the victim or other people in the environment. Because one, it's a privacy breach, and it is definitely illegal if people are acting secretly, conspiring other things behind the scene, which is the case of what's happened to me historically. Okay, so for those new on board, and just to get everybody in the mindset before I get into the topic that's actually on my heart, okay, so everything I'm saying, you're getting it from the horse's mouth, meaning you're actually getting the original information from the victim themselves, okay. In criminal jurisdiction, the victim has the highest priority over the defendants in any case, okay. So in my cases I've been going through while I was working for my government, has been people with internal, like people in government who have broken laws or gone too far with what they did, and then they've known that they've actually committed perjury or perverted the course of justice or impede rescue, and then it eventually just accumulates of an alliance that is negative. Spiritually, it's negative also, whether it's legally, naturally, and spiritually, it's a negative alliance, and it's very serious and dangerous. But this is a good way to actually explain what it looks like for those that are actually trapped. Okay, so anyone can be trapped in their employment, they can be trapped in their home, so anyone can be targeted. Okay, so this is what it's been an experience for me, and this is the experience I've had to go through with Henry. He's been like same situation. I'm just using that because that's the most current incidents that's happened. So I've actually just been putting up in the moment evidence for our criminal cases, because I'm actually a witness for his, and he's a witness for mine. But on the outside, people are actually creating an illusion, and basically we're trapped in an environment that is deception. Okay, it's fraud, it's fake, and it's devious. This is all consistent with the music in my environment. Okay, so I'm targeted by an illegal force, an illegal conspiracy crime, destroying and killing everything good in my life intentionally, meaning everything about the victim has to be undone, and they have to undo everything and find out what happened to all the original, because nobody just wakes up the next day and everyone's just vanished. It is a conspiracy. It's an advanced conspiracy, a global one. And acts of terrorism takes place, relationship scams takes place, stalking takes place, and all these zombie people are being micromanaged in your personal space. So never ever take that as natural. That is not natural in any generation. Okay, so do what you got to do to survive, and be sensitive to and be suspicious of anyone behaving suspicious within your personal space. Okay, so by law, because I work for the government, I would be classified, or according to the law, I'm a whistleblower because I've exposed corruption. Okay, so a whistleblower is not a dishonest person. These are people that actually stand against what is not right. But what I have found that some cultures and some religions and though people with corrupt mindsets, corrupt hearts, they've turned whistleblowers into more of an enemy of a state. Okay, so they've done this by defamation, by character assassination is what they're doing to them secretly. I didn't know all this was going on, but and going backwards when the breaches started while I was working for my employer, because I was just one of these people who minded their own business in my occupation. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Okay, and according to the law, there's nothing in law substantial that I've actually broken illegally. So all of it has been unlawful, digging up people's past and using it against them, or interpreting, or taking things out of context, or, for example, just because somebody has a glass of wine now and then doesn't mean they're an alcoholic, or just a social drinker does not mean that they're alcoholic, or other things that may have happened in a person's private life. People are digging it up and just through gossip, making up their own rubbish because they're so jealous of their, it's all about character assassination, but it's so intimate. Okay, it's the intimacy that is dangerous, because after they do their scientific experiment, they glue themselves to you, and then one is stealing your positive energy, and another is living your life, and another one is doing a negative energy, doing the defamation. Okay, so the defamation is actually done in song lyrics. Okay, it's done in the music. Because so many people from the old generation are not even into technology, but these are all the things that I have discovered. But if you ignore these things, it does have consequences eventually. Okay, so it took them like 9.5 years for them to actually derailroad me. Okay, because usually they won't do their next plan, because they have everything all planned and they expect everything to fall into place. Okay, so they can plan and plot your death in advance, 6 months down the line, plan and plot a car accident, plan or plot, to poison you, or, all just from lying. Okay, so this is why it's so serious, because it's global, and it is a criminal alliance, and they are creating an illusion of deception and fake, and some people are actually getting a kick out of it. Okay, so I have to say, if you're straight, I feel like these people that are easily targeted are people that are straight. Okay, so I'm not gay, all right. I know that they've made out that I'm gay, because this is what I've experienced personally, is gay people have made out that I'm gay, or other nationalities have made out I'm them, or other cultures, saying that I'm Māori or Asian, but I'm not. But this is what I'm trying to describe. That is what they're actually doing. They're actually animating the original. Okay, so they've animated my family, animated everybody individually, but then who's behind the conspiracy? Somebody overseas in different governments. Could be, the government of somebody in China. It could be a government somewhere in Asia, government in Tonga, or government in India. But they are pairing up. Okay, that's my personal experience. They've paired up. They dig up people's past and their family, and then they pair up with them. Whether they embed themselves, and then, but that is, honest to God, this is the most inhumane conspiracy to any inhumanity to any generation. I'm a survivor of it, and I believe this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It's the targeting tactic that is serious, and the fact that the police won't intervene, or that people can't get any intervention, that is even more serious. You can be just a sitting duck, and these things can happen unless you're aware of the signs. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you're a millionaire or billionaire. The system is set out. It's manifested. It's built for gangs. It's built for the underworld, for people who do corruption and get a kick of stealing other people's ideas, or stealing people's money so then they can be rich or whatever. But that is what I've gone through. So I'm classified as a whistleblower. So a whistleblower is not a person of corruption. It's a person who actually is the victim and is exposing corruption, which what I've done. Okay, so my profile clearly reveals that they've stolen while I was working for my employer under the camera. Every single law has been broken against my will and without my consent. Okay, but I have found other cultures have, turned me like into the enemy of the state. I've always been the victim. And then they've all just taken turns personally to try and kill my confidence. Offences like conspiracy to commit a crime in the moment is all there, and it can all be dealt with after the fact can be proven. This is where I'm at, and I just feel because it's so dangerous. And, I know I'm a walking miracle. I shouldn't be alive today, but I am. And so while God gives me air to breathe, I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing and just share my testimony of the power of God, really, to be totally honest. But I am, it's a very serious case. So I'll just carry on. Okay, a privacy breach can start from just having an informant in your space. It can start from espionage, people spying on you and monitoring you in your home, which now can happen globally. So evidence in my court case as an individual clearly can articulate that I was being monitored globally going back to 2010, and this is where Moana comes in, linking to Pastor King and myself, okay? That's going back to church in 2010, so that's sufficient evidence to prove that I was being pinned down and people spying on me globally, but I didn't know who I was. I didn't even know that was happening. I had the suspicion, but I just, there are things that was my word against theirs, but yet in my conscience, it was telling me something's not right, something's wrong, it's not safe, this shouldn't be happening. So it was really basically up to me to make the right decisions. Eventually, over time, once they study somebody, they become quite confident, and then they start making me eat my words. Or what they've done really, which I find absolutely wicked and evil, is they've dug up my past, and everybody that has either committed a crime on me or my past that needed, I could have easily have them in prison for the things they've done to me. They've put them and their family in my space. So anybody that I've had any issues with in the past, they've dug up and joined forces, and then they have been the people in my space monitoring, stalking, and just causing havoc and personally tormenting me emotionally and persecuting me personally. So it is a definite evil spirit. Definitely relationship scam. Okay, so it's very likely, I believe Pastor King was being glued by the people in my environment. I don't know, I think somehow some Irish people are coming out in my space. It's like maybe it's the Irish community. I don't know why, but I find serious murderers are so confident with what they're doing. They like to mock their victims, and they like to come out and let them know what they're doing before they do it or even after they do it. That is how evil it is, because they're so confident that nobody's going to believe me. So it's my word against them, but I'm pretty confident. I trust, I absolutely 100% trust my gifts, okay? My gifts of discernment, other gifts that God has blessed me with. I can, things that have happened, they've come true, okay? I'm not a witch, okay? I'm not evil. I don't do anything like that. Everybody knows that, a godly person, especially a Christian, true Christianity, the Bible, Jesus was actually all about the supernatural realm. Okay, he was nothing natural about him. He had to go through all natural things to obtain all that, or to fulfill God's will and his purpose in his life. I believe God has used me for that too, but I've had to go through the experiences to actually earn the respect and earn the gifts that I have from those that actually believe in integrity and my faith in actual 100% in my God. So whether I live or die, I'll continue to do what I know what feel is right for me, and what I feel is right before God and man. Okay, but anyway, they have used me for relationship scam historically, and the most recent relationship I have been using is in regards to Henry Cavill and myself. Yes, the real Henry Cavill. Our worlds are very, very different. Okay, so I won't go on too much about this, because if you watch my other video clips, they're my personal experience in the moment. Okay, my own intimate relationship with him, and a journey of faith for both of us. Okay, Henry has a background of a Catholic. He's super like of the Bible and that. So I feel that was kind of like it was a good feeling just having that connection, because when I realized that he comes from that background, it does make a difference. But his world and my world are actually very similar in different ways. Like what I've gone through personally and what he's gone through personally, kind of like balances things out. Okay. Other people wouldn't think so, but we don't care what other people think. However, I just believe that God has just used both of us just as a revelation of this new age illegal global game that is people conspiring to take over or destroy or attack a specific group of people. Okay, it's illegal, linking to the government, which is even more serious. But not only just New Zealand, I'm talking about global crimes. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's social media, it doesn't matter if you're a millionaire or billionaire. If you get caught for human trafficking or making money off innocent civilians you never earned yourself, when stealing off them, that's still a crime. I know that you guys haven't wiped out all the honest people around the world, but I think just the fact that other people can get a chance of protecting themselves and their own property and their family, I believe this is what I'm supposed to do, and this is my purpose and God's perfect will for me. All right, guys. So this here, historically, the perversion of the court, perverting the course of justice has taken numerous times in my personal property. Whether other people have tried to help me personally and got themselves in trouble, I don't know. But the danger in doing that, unless the individual actually knows, you're just putting yourself at risk if you do exactly what a criminal will do everything secretly. That's a dangerous situation to put anyone in or put yourself in. Okay, so so things have been quite dangerous for me. I have exhausted the system, so there's definitely a malfunction of the government system. I am the victim of crime, so I'm quite sure nobody's going to go out deliberately and murder me, because I'd be too scared to. But that doesn't mean it's going to stop them from trying, and they haven't really stopped trying. And the fact that I'm actually recording and exposing them, that's just a self-defense thing that I have to do, because they come out when I'm by myself. And I find it really disgusting of their confidence when they are stage stalking, people in the past that I know that are dead, and then that they're tormenting me about it or stuff like that. That's wrong. Okay, these people, you guys really need to go to a mental institute or be locked up, because that just tells me something's radically wrong with you and you're a danger to society. But yes, serious wrongdoings taken place. We're talking about gross miscarriage of justice. Okay, for those that don't know what miscarriage of justice is, it does mean several things, but according to the law, it actually means people within the government jobs who have actually broken the laws, like contempt of court crimes. Okay, the breaches, they've committed perjury, and a miscarriage of justice is when a victim or the person that is suing them or the person that is pressing criminal charges against a corporate body or an individual, what it actually means is there is no way they can contest it, even if they tried. So if they wanted to go, contest it, they have to have a defense to contest it and not otherwise. Okay, that's why it's quite serious. If you write something about somebody, what you write on your judgments or anything like that to do with law or people's personal property, that the information is 100% accurate, because otherwise that becomes under the category of unlawful strikes, which is fraud. Okay, so unfortunately, there's no such thing as grey area in the law. I know some people, some cultures and other people want to, change the law to have feel sorry for those who got a law degree, but it doesn't work that way. Okay, it does not work that way. A fraud is a fraud. Unlawful strikes, writing unlawful judgments about a person's personality or a person's life. Especially I'm talking using myself as an example, and they're innocent. That is serious, because those things can always backfire, even if the person gets murdered. Okay, so it's according to the law, a miscarriage of justice is when somebody, the offender, has actually broken the law, and even if they tried to contest it in the law, like if it went to trial, it's basically the plaintiff or the other party is confident 100% they will not win. Okay, so it's called miscarriage of justice, and that is what my case is, because all these things have taken place to be true. All the facts that I've talked about in my personal property on my statement of claim is true. So that's what actually miscarriage of justice means, that even if the plaintiff, the defendant, like in my case, the defendant is the government. Okay, so the defendant is definitely the Crown, and I am the plaintiff. So when it goes to criminal, they are the offender and I'm the victim, but I'm still representing myself because the law says I can in New Zealand. Okay, but miscarriage of justice means it's absolute criminal liability for the offender, and it's the end of that. Usually that's used in set aside judgments, just so then just not to waste court times. Okay, so it doesn't waste court time. The judge, and no one needs to drag it out, waste court time, because I have found that the co-offenders or the offenders, they're playing the system like a criminal would play a system, because they don't want to lose their license, they don't want defamation, but that's not how it works. So a miscarriage of justice is an offence or offences that cannot be contested, even if they tried, because they're guilty. The crime is already done, and they're guilty. Can clearly tell that they had every intent to do what they're doing, or they've done the act and it's guilty. That is what you call miscarriage of justice. Okay, so that's the legal terminology of what a miscarriage of justice is. So unfortunately my case is definitely a malfunction of the government system, because people have perverted the course of justice, impede rescue. They've left me in there and did nothing about it. And I've had to spend how many years trying to stay alive and avoid everything. Avoid from being murdered. So there's been a massive, great loss in every area of my life. Right, so we're talking about racism or not. So it's criminals will be charged according to the offence. So we're dealing with global games. That's what I've been subject to, illegal Commonwealth games, and the use of relationship scams. It is 10 years imprisonment. Okay, so it doesn't matter how subtly you do it. If it's linked to a crime, that's serious. You can be charged, and especially I wouldn't be doing it anymore, especially if people have woken up to the game. Because I'm telling you, once everyone wakes up, no one is laughing, because this is so serious the way they're doing it. I don't have that kind of a mindset on playing games with people, innocent civilians' liberty. I mean, it's a kind of a game where the perpetrators or the mastermind of the game knows that expects you to die. They can micromanage your life and expect you to die at a certain time. Okay, unless somebody good comes along and helps you, that is what the game is. Is a dehumanizing of a human being. Okay, they've taken away their rights, their rights, their liberty, and somebody else is trafficking and controlling and manipulating. Even just the way I'm describing it, I just don't see the sense of humor in it. I don't see the sense of humor of this global relationship game. I just don't have that kind of sense of humor. Okay, I just think it's despicable and disgusting. Game by weak human beings. You're weak. That's all I can say. You're weak. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So if you're a trafficking victim and you feel you are, if you haven't consented to it, and you feel like you're going on a downhill spiral, then it's very likely that you are being micromanaged by people without your consent. Okay, no warrant, it's illegal. Unless I've done something illegal, then I should be treated like a criminal, but I haven't done anything illegal. Okay, there's nothing substantial that they can even use against me to put me in prison, even if they try, because I know I haven't. But in the legislation, I discovered that they actually call people like myself incapacitated persons. Okay, I've actually researched that portion in the legislation. Okay. But an incapacitated person is a person that's more like somebody who's not intellectually bright or not able to do things themselves, and then they need somebody else to come in and intervene. Well, that's okay, but if you're doing it to me, treating me like that, invisible, and just doing it without my permission, you're actually breaking the law. Okay, because then you end up being the perpetrator that's trafficking another human being and taking their rights. Because I have felt that was a suspicion of because I just couldn't understand why people were doing what they were doing, because I honestly just could not understand. I just couldn't get my mind around why are these human beings doing what they're doing. I mean, in my mind, I'm just going out about my business, minding my own business, just doing, acting normal, wanting just to try and go forward, and then everything's micromanaged. People are just the whole atmosphere is not good. It's not natural. I can just tell it. I just know. But after a while, when it's a global sport game like I've gone through, it is definitely crimes against humanity. So I am being definitely animated by different states or different people for different reasons. They're not all for the same. Others have been because they want to find out where Henry is. Just an example. Others because I've got so many people, so many enemies because they've broken the law. Okay, so people can seek revenge. I know people have gone to prison because of what they've done to me, but is that my fault? But the other danger that I found is that these people, these people are committing pretty serious crime, and yet usually the old system, the victim gets told, so then they are aware. The victim and their families get told of any serious wrongdoing, but this new system, they've kept the truth away. Okay, like, so everything I'm saying is true. And then this is where the defamation and the personal attack to destroy someone's reputation is happening on the surface, because it's the very people's own family, is their own friends. They've all just joined forces. That's exactly what's happened. So yeah, I'm definitely a lockout situation. Okay, so that's why everything illegally is happening in my space. I'm blocked, locked out, and people are committing intentional crimes in your space. So be careful on the cars. Okay, they are using that I believe trucks accidents are not actually truck accidents. When you see people coming out of their homes, when you're driving in your area or driving to your distance, people acting out, it means your privacy is gone, and it's very likely you are targeted and you are locked out. But you'll find these people are actually parking or their trucks in your space as an indication that that's the intent. They're going to cause a car accident. If you see signs like that, quite often take photos of their license of their car if you can, okay, and then report it. Report it to their job or company. Find out their registration, or take it to the police, because that's actually their job to do. But unfortunately, what I've gone through, the people unfortunately internally have been corrupt. Okay, so just because somebody's got a law degree and is working for the public, public office with a fiduciary power, whatever you want to call it, doesn't mean they're honest. Okay. So, but these are the signs that you need to look out for car accidents. These people, I'm just thinking, okay, so why is that car parked there? Why is that, and then there's no driver sometimes, or there is a driver. But I have found that it's a group gang thing. Everything's well organized. Devices allows them to do all these things without getting caught, but they can actually premeditate easily a car accident without you even realizing it. So that you just got to stay alert all the time. These people are even like using rubbish trucks. They want to let me know that I'm rubbish, I'm junk, and all the rest of it. That's still a crime, and they even are actually acting it out. So according to the law, I'm the vulnerable adult, okay, and I'm actually the victim, okay. So the victim always gets high priority over the defendant at any time, okay. And so is Henry Cavill. He's the victim in this matter. He's not committing any offence. He's just like me. We're both just minding our own business, and not really having anything to do with the public. I'm not really having anything to do with the public or anyone else, because I choose to, other than do my court case, because I know that I need to do this for my case and for those that are actually watching me. And also, I know this will benefit everybody, because it's a public interest kind of a case. It's a real life crime. Okay, Commonwealth Games is usually because of inciting of racial disharmony. So they are using all kinds of, things to tip off their people. So it's actually quite serious for for the victims, okay? If you don't, like, I have found I have not been able to go forward. People are like, oh, you should be able to do this, you should be able to do that, but I have not been able to do anything because I'm pinned down. I'm glued to the people who are stopping me from going forward, okay? There's clear evidence that intimate glue by the opposing allies, which is absolutely illegal, is happening. Okay, so we're dealing with people with intent to incite hostility or ill will against. Okay, so this is what I'm going through. It's inside, internally. It's in government and also public and globally, okay? And I know exactly who my allies are, but they don't speak for everyone, okay? They've coded themselves, the names, so all that can be used against you. And, you know, I mean, I've been an exploited person for a long time, but I've just got to go with it. But they are using social media. It's diminishing, so it tells me that the right people or God is moving, because everything about God is good. Okay, there's nothing evil about God, nothing wicked about God or anything like that, but he does hate wickedness. But it is, like, I can confirm and congratulate those that are doing their job, because I can just tell by the environment, you know, that these people are diminishing. Okay, so this is how you actually destroy defamation and these kind of these kind of evil alliances, is actually exposing it, and that's what I'm doing. I'm actually exposing their tactics, and then it's up to them if they get caught. But they, you know, they're committing some pretty serious offences. Okay, I'm a woman, and some of the things that they're committing sexual violation offences, and this is also including with Henry Cavill. Some of the things that they've said on social media, they're committing really serious offences. Okay, talking about sexual this and sexual that without that person's consent, that's defamation, but that is committing pretty serious sexual violation offences. Okay, I'm just going to go through my document because I'm looking for something in specific. I know I've already. This is a good video. I'm sorry I didn't mean to go on for so long, but I just feel, well, you know, anything I say is, it's positive. There's nothing negative about it. I'll come back to that. There's something I'm looking for. See, there are laws against everybody that breaks a crime. So, just bear with me. See, what's going on with me is also riotous damage. Okay, so here it is. This is what I wanted to do when I was talking about sexual violation. Okay, this is dealing with sexual exploitation. Okay, so believe it or not, for those of my enemy who hates my guts and wants to call me a whore, whatever you want to call me, wants to exploit and body parts, but you're actually breaking the law. Okay, that comes under sexual violation, exploitation of a person, body part. Whether it's done, well, it's been done indirectly in gestures and stage talking, but that is illegal. Okay, so this is what's happened. They've younger, fresher. You just need to listen to the ads and the songs they're doing. That's all part of a crime scene. But to do that to any human being in any generation, that's really serious offences. Okay, so heaps of people have defamed me or assassin my character, my body, my looks, or use other people to animate me, to make me look fatter or ugly or whatever. And to be totally honest, I have never been the type of person who care about what other people think about me. I know I'm not a supermodel type, and I've never wanted to be that type or anything like that. I've only done this for the sake of saving my life and for the sake of saving other people's life and for public interest and for my court cases. Okay, but this is the new age system. So, I've had people on social media, bending down and, focusing on a woman's pussy. Okay, I have to say the words, or a woman's vagina, because these are the kind of things that are actually described in court. I am the victim, so what I'm describing is exactly what I say. But exploiting a person sexually in that form and pretending, as like a coding thing or a way of degrading them or compare them to somebody else different with, anime, because this is what they're doing to me. This is what these other cultures, other religions, other states are doing to me. Okay, they are talking about body parts, and it's been really disgusting, like focusing on the woman's twat, or like their ill will, sick mind is in the game. You can just see it, but yous are breaking the law. All right, you are breaking the law. So anything that you have done in the past can be used against you. Okay. But I just felt that's what I needed to talk about today. I do have another. I'm just looking at my time. I might have to end this one because it's getting too long. I didn't mean to go this long, but I haven't I wanted to focus on the evidence for New Zealand police. Okay. But this is what's on my heart today too, is this one here. See it clearly, sexual exploitation of the person. That is an offence. Okay? Exploiting, I mean, I'm an older woman. Yes, I've had children. But then you put somebody younger, and then everyone wants that younger person to it. I mean, you guys are pathetic. I like that, I can't even explain the things people have done. I don't care, because I'm confident in myself. I don't need other people's approval to feel okay. But I am contesting this because that's degrading. That is disgusting. I've had gay people do this to me. I've had other people who are atheists. I've even had Christians who do this, who mock and everything, and think, no, that person should win because that person hasn't had kids. I mean, that is pathetic. All right, that is not even a win. That is a disgrace. A disgrace to yourself as a person to even allow these kind of things to happen. But I'm just explaining because these are what everyone's doing to me. Indirect innuendos, okay? The deception, the lie, it's a game. The victims are buried. They're buried in the game, but their intent is to steal. They're even, inciting to steal. Like, they know I'm locked out, so they're letting everyone know, another steal, and they are actually stealing. So this could happen to you too. Like, you don't even know it's happening. But this is the issue of, not having, I know that a lot of people want to cut out technology, but when people globally are doing this and you wonder why people are disappearing, it's because of this. I'm going through it. Okay. So these people are so disgusting and so degrading, but they can all be done for conspiracy. But it is illegal. I just wanted to prove that to you, because that comes under sexual exploitation of the person. And I'm just putting the government, unfortunately, whoever is doing the behind the scene thing, are breaking the law intentionally. Okay, and they're doing that because they think these people, it's an abuse of authority also. It's a strategy so they don't get to lose their job, or it's a strategy where the public won't find out the truth of what the actual victim has gone through. Okay. Oh, by the way, that actually comes under sexual violation crimes too. So I think, it's about 20 years imprisonment is about how far that one can go. So I think there's only 3 serious category 4 charges or offences that has 20 years imprisonment, and sexual violation is one of them. But yeah, anything to do with sexual anything, that's the highest penalty of it according to the law in New Zealand. So it pays to be, don't be so vain, because you're not all that if you're out trying to hurt other people's feelings just to make you look better, and trying to steal secretly. I'm sorry, but that's just inhumane, and it's actually disgusting and a real put off to anyone that is honest and with a sensible mind. Okay, and I guarantee you that if you get caught, you will be charged. All right, quickly, I think I will just keep the New Zealand police evidence on this, okay? I know this video is a bit long, but I'm quite sure people love it. I've really got a lot of good response, but it is a real case. So my court case started from the 2006, according to my file, my statement of claims. These are all the incidents. I won't go on about it because you can just read it for yourself. All right, I think I'll focus on the New Zealand police because I want to have this one continuous from the New Zealand police. All right, so I've actually made a response to the New Zealand police, the judgment of Judge Sussex. Okay. All of you have already read that. Okay, so I have made a response to this, to that judgment. Okay, there it is. I sent it on Saturday, 3rd of May, 2025. So I've actually made a response to the judge's judgment, and also to whom she sent also a minute. Okay, so she sent out to a judgment and a minute. Okay, so I've actually responded to that. I won't go through everything on my memo because it's just a memo at the moment, just to let the judge my response of it. Okay, so it was quite clear. I mean, I'm appealing that decision, but I don't know, it could end up in criminal. Anything could happen at any point of time, okay? But for the point of everybody else that's watching, is I'm actually contesting it because I had to let the judge know that there was actually, these are all the case officers, okay? There's definite trading and influence going on in my case. This is with all the cases, all right? So there was just some of the things she had stated about the case, but she did leave the case. She didn't make a decision until like 6 months later. So that doesn't help anybody, doesn't even help the situation, because all the in between, you get people coming in and gossiping and trying to change your mind. That's what you call trading and influence. And that's a risk. Okay. That's a risk for any judge. To do that. But when you leave a case for like 6 months, especially with what everyone has done to me historically, that's serious stuff. But there has actually been several case officers just for the New Zealand police and the IPCA case, okay? So I've listed the name of these people. First, there was a case officer here, Sharek Ali, Sione Fafita, Talua Peretu, Annie Kim, and Julie Parasitu Torn. And just while I'm on this, and there were others, okay, and then this is all new, I can't pronounce their name, but you can read it. There are others, okay. These are the main people that are case managing. None of them responds to any of my emails immediately. Then I go into court, and then they're either not there, or they're not actually managing my case. They are intentionally not doing anything. Okay, we're talking about people in government. I'm the whistleblower, so they all know who I am, and they're all trading in influence. But there were other people that have actually case managed my case or handled my file while at the counter. I haven't put them all here, and I think the other guy was Quinn Ward, but he was at the counter. But these are the people who have case managed their case. Okay, so I've done everything to the letter. Those that know me, who I've worked with personally, know I'm very efficient. Okay, I'm very efficient in the moment. I know my, anything to do with me legally. I know my rights. I'm actually very good. Okay, so I thought I'd put that up for for those that are watching my case. I will keep everyone informed. Okay, so I had to kind of like just put in the that I have done everything. Then I've had people retype my evidence. I don't know who's doing it, and then some of my documents, I know I didn't type it. I'm really efficient to the point that when I actually do a legal document, I proofread like 5 times. I have a system. Probably I'll get the odd one still wrong, but most of the time I try my best to be accurate and not have spelling mistakes and have the grammar, the grammar of the legal language properly. Okay, because everything's got to be done properly. But I'm very efficient, and it's different when I make mistakes on Facebook or on my social media. It's because I'm not actually, sometimes everything's fresh and I haven't actually really proofread it enough. I just put it on and then I'll go back and that's just me being me. But when it comes to legal work, like real work, professional work, I don't submit anything. I actually proofread like 5 times until I'm satisfied that it's okay and the language is good. I've actually had a compliment from one of the judges. He was quite impressed with my work, very impressed with my work. And he told me that I was pretty good, and he was, in court. So I have found that it has been in between. The judges are making unlawful strikes. The sabotage has been in between. And I hate to say this, and I have to say it as what I see it, is some of these people are being branded by somebody. So it's like somebody is committing perjury or trading in influence. That's why people are breaking the law. I have also found that some of these people are global, like these people are being hired from they're either brand new or they actually link to other people involved in the stalking or what I'm going through as part of the game. That's my personal opinion. I have a reason to believe that is what's going on. But they're coding. Some of the people, even the coding, the judges, the coding, like the minute my court cases are active, they're coding. They're coding somebody, and then they're tipping off the public globally. That's a breach. That's serious for everybody concerned. Serious. Okay, so while I'm at the topic, okay, I want you guys to have a look at this. My case has been going on for like almost 9 years, everyone. Okay, so I had to kind of like let the judge know that the New Zealand Police was first lodged with the Statement of Claim Judiciary Review on the 21st of December 2022. I did ask the court to have them all follow through together. Okay, so at the Judiciary Review for the Ministry of Health, because the judges were also waiting for all these cases to find out what's going on. But while I'm doing what I'm doing, whoever's sabotaging me, it's a left behind case, and that's what they're doing. They're sabotaging me intentionally, so then the other party can win, and those women are linked to those other parties. Okay, those women are coded. They're linked. It's the game. They're cheating. They're stealing, and they're also if they were given the chance, and I have, just like they stole Unison and tax money and everything linked to me, they stole that. I believe this is what they had the intent to do with me. But going back to the Ministry of Health case, okay, Sharik Ali was a case officer, the main case officer back then. And when I actually lodged the case, Paul White, okay, he was a case officer for the Ministry of Health. He declined. He lied and told the court, this is his email, that he, as repeatedly advised to you by email and in person when you attend my chambers, I do not act for and have never acted for the Ministry of Health accordingly, okay? So he has sent this email to the other council, which is Hannah Stewart. Yeah, Hannah for Key Chambers. I don't know if they're still there, but this is Key Chambers. The case officer back then was Sharik Ali. So just because he said that, that prejudiced my case that is now in criminal to do with the Ministry of Health. But all the other judges are all relying on these judgments and they're all unlawful. But he lied, okay? He basically lied. So it was my word against his. Okay, so this here was the actual conference. So I hope you can just get the point what I'm trying to say, okay? This is the first conference that got adjourned because for some reason it got adjourned. Okay, just bear with me. I'm just trying to find a memo. Alright, just bear with me. I just had to try and find the memos, okay? The thing is, this is the one with Hannah and Wilkins. Here it is. You can see here. This is the 3rd of November 2017. That's Paul White and H.A. Wilkins. Okay. This is their joint memo. That's the names of the party. Okay. So what I'm actually trying to say is that there's definitely been trading and influence going on. Okay. It's a Crimes Act. It's illegal. That's 7 years imprisonment. Means that there is no separation. The other thing I had discovered also in my case, just bear with me, I just need to look for something, is this person here, Julie Parasitonastorn, okay, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce it properly, but she is actually a court registry officer, okay, so being a court deputy registrar is different to a court registry officer, even though the title is court registry officer now, okay, like before, when I was doing a courts for Department of Courts, a court deputy registrar is a title that you use in a indictable, like high profile cases and stuff like that, okay? But a court registry officer is now changed to a court registry officer, but that doesn't mean that they're actually a deputy registrar or a case officer, okay? So I don't know how experienced some of these people are, but I can tell from experience that they're not experienced. So I don't know how experienced they are in their job. So, but that's a court's prerogative to actually train their people up for the sake of people's cases so they don't get sabotage. Because that's, because they're inexperienced, that's not our problem, especially when there's a consistency of a malfunction of a government system, okay? So, but this person here, I discovered that she was also a court registry officer, and then, okay, just bear with me, I'm just looking for something. Okay. My discovery also I found in this case that this person, the same one I just mentioned, okay, she was a court registry officer I just showed you, but she's also an associate to Honourable Judge Gardner. So she's got 2 titles, all right? This is for the same case. So she's a court registry officer. That's a separate entity for those that don't know what that is, for the Ministry of Justice. So she's like a court registry officer is like a court taker. You can be a deputy registrar too, but it doesn't mean that you've got all that. Like even if when you're brand new, you've got to go through a training process. Even before you're experienced enough to even get your court deputy registrar powers, because you get your authority powers when you do after you do the training for court registry officer. Okay. But I was really shocked to find out that because a judge's associate is a separate entity altogether. So it's separate. Okay. And so this person's got 2 titles handling my case. I'm like, okay. But what I'm also finding is that these court deputy registrars are sitting on they're not doing anything. So either somebody's instructing them not to do anything with it, and they just sit. They don't respond to any of my emails. They are blocking me, and then they're also inciting on social media to let the whole world know that I'm locked out, and then people come out. That's why I'm recording. But what I'm going through now is no different to what I was going through secretly while I was working for my government. I was still sensible to make sure, that I did all the right things to stay alive, which I did. But when that's going on and they're prolonging a court case, all they're doing really is they're buying time for someone to actually murder the victim. Get it? And then they seek revenge on the victims' families. That is what the system is doing. But this is pure evidence. This person's got 2 entities. Okay, so she's got 2 jobs. You can't be a court registrar or a court deputy anything because the entity is separate. According to the law, if something went against the judges or something went against the court, or when the judge, if there was an audit done on what happened to my case to find out who's in the wrong, the court registries come under the courts. So the court is a separate entity, and the actual she's separate too. Okay, so but she shouldn't be doing both jobs. That's what I'm trying to say, because there's trading and influence in that. It's a conflict of interest, and the fact that so many people are handling my case, that's an exploitation of a file that makes all the corporate bodies liable. All right. Okay, so what I'm finding, this is what they're doing. People wanting to take over the world or whatever they want to do. They want to feel superior over another person, or superior, or hostile takeover, or whatever you want to do. But it's all from internal corruption, privacy breaches, and people using their job. That's exactly what I've gone through. But they're actually, instead of using horses and that, they're actually using cars. All right, they're using cars, their vehicles, they're changing their license number, they're doing it confidently because they don't think they're going to get caught. But I just think, be aware, listen to your conscience. If you feel something's not right, pull over. Don't stay public and pull over if you feel somebody is tailing or stalking you. They like to let you know that you are targeted, but their motive and intent long term, it is definitely a conspiracy to plot something against you, it's usually evil, okay, because they shouldn't even be doing it. Okay, but they are doing everything in advance. So unless they have a warrant, then that's different. But no one should be stalking you or anything like that. It's gangs are definitely linked in there. Somebody is paying them to do it, and now gangs and their people can just read what's going on social media to update everybody what's going on. That is why it's even harder to catch them out, because once a person has been coded like they've coded me, they just need to watch the coding process on TV, on social media, or whatever. In government, unfortunately, they're definitely criminally responsible in my case. But their intent is it's actually real. Okay. All right. So we're dealing with fault finding extremists. Okay. They call it a democracy, but it's not. It's a conspiracy. Okay, unless the person has actually consented to anything, it's a crime. Okay, so what I put on my post is exactly how I see it. But these people do not speak for all the good people in that government or all the good people in that country or state. But you do get a minority that ruins it for everyone. The thing is, they are seriously breaking the laws. Okay, they are tagging people and they don't stop. They'll wait and then attack. They like to attack their prey when they don't expect to be attacked. Okay, but they're secretly fault finding and degrading the actual original victims. Okay, so we're dealing with people with one mindset, the mean, okay? They don't need a reason to do it. They're just doing it. You could be targeted for the rest of your life. And, I know I'm always at risk of being targeted, but I have no intention of being murdered before my time. I'm just going to carry on with what I'm going through, but these people are for real. Okay, so they call themselves shadow people, like for real. Okay, they call themselves shadow people. They hate everything about the person that they are targeting, whether they hate a specific group of people or they hate a specific person, or they are doing it because they're trying to protect the defendants or those that have actually committed crimes, or they're just seeking revenge for different reasons. Okay, so this is what it looks like in real life, but it's a left behind case. So there's all these kind of very serious culpable offences in one case happening to one person who's actually fighting for their liberty. But this is what it actually looks like, and it's a slow death. Okay, if it doesn't stop, it's because you've been targeted. There's a likelihood that they've targeted you for life, and that means all your family is also at risk. Everybody in media is at risk, so who's liable? It's our government. Well, it's for our government to find out who's behind it and stop it all. Okay, so spiritually, we're dealing with people that are mentally impaired or spiritually impaired. They have a fetish of, playing games with other people's liberty and praying and stealing without getting caught. And it's really easy to do, okay? It's a very, very, very serious predicament for anyone to be in. So don't ignore the signs, especially the stalking, okay, with the cars. They like to drive their car with one headlight on. They're letting you know you're targeted, and they actually do mean business. So just do what you got to do. Take photos, pull over. Tell somebody. Don't go alone, okay? If you can find someone that you trust and that you stick with that person, but yeah, so I guess I'm telling my story or what I'm going through legally for real, so that anyone else that's going through what I'm going through, you're not going crazy, all right? You're not mentally unstable. They like to play mind games. Okay, the whole game is to make me think I'm losing it, but I know I'm not. But yeah, that's the whole idea. It's a psychological mental abuse game. Witches and warlocks, spiritually speaking, are behind it. These people have a sick fetish, and it's basically they like to prey on innocent civilians who can't fight back or is not is oblivious to the laws or to the dangers of such criminal alliances. Okay. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But they are definitely out to confuse you and defame you, or they like to keep people isolated and stuff like that. But they are definitely 100% secretly stealing. Common sense is easy to do. This is all they're doing. They're sitting at the back, and for someone to stalk you 24/7, they must have some kind of form of access where they're watching you illegally, but they shouldn't be stalking anyway. Okay, so stalking is not something normal. It's actually illegal. It's 1 year imprisonment for criminal nuisance, and I think it's 2 years for harassment and stalking. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Okay, it's public harassment, scrutiny. It's like, okay, where's Wally? Okay, where's the criminal? Yeah. Okay, so anyone in government can break the law. Okay, we're talking about white collar crimes or blue collar crimes offences. There's nothing new about these people. It's just that it's easier for them now to commit offences just by using their jobs and locking people out. Okay. And then in between, the public are being used. This is like their family and their friends. It could be a culture, doing what they're doing, but they are breaking the law, okay? Because everyone's entitled to privacy. Everybody's entitled, to live their life without interference. But they are doing it. So take my word for it, and just, don't get involved in anything that is none of your business. Okay, I'm this type of person. I would never do anything illegal or for anyone for a favor. You could never bribe me to do something wrong. I just won't do it. And that's the type of person I am. But I know all the strategies of my opposing allies, and over time, eventually, evil actually exposes themselves, and they actually walk into their own traps. Okay, so I'm going to finish it with with this verse. Okay, I didn't know what this verse meant, but I 100% am really mind-blowing, really, of my belief in the Bible and God's Word, and also in my faith in the Holy Spirit and in true Christianity and the spiritual realm of the supernatural, because that's what we're up to. So that these are all the signs that I've gone through personally, and if you are the type of person that is honest, mind your own business, just a sitting duck and don't want any harm, unfortunately, you are easy prey and they will attack you. But I'm just, just sharing my court case and my personal experience, just for you to actually be enlightened and look out for the targets of the opposing allies, because everyone has opposition, whether we like it or not. You can mind your business all you like, but anyone can be targeted, especially now the way the system is set out globally. No one is actually safe anymore, and that's the fact for this generation. So how can they do it? They need to bring back the old laws and do something about people's privacy and stuff like that. Because, I'm talking about anyone and everyone is not safe anymore. That's just how it is. So I'll leave it at that. And I'm sorry I've gone too long with this video clip, but it is... it is relevant to my case, and this is a continuous from the last case of Judge Sussex case. And by the way, I'm not breaking any laws, so because I am a victim of crimes, and the judges that have dealt with my cases, I have told them that I will be going public because it was me who actually initiated their cases as the plaintiff, because that's where they first started in the civil jurisdiction, and now I've actually taken it to the criminal because it is a criminal case, even though I did try to transfer them all to the criminal, but I've had people are sabotaging everything. But according to the laws here in New Zealand, I'm not breaking any laws. I'm allowed to stand up for myself, and we are actually allowed to represent ourselves in New Zealand according to the laws. So I'll just leave it at that, and yeah, okay, I'll see you in my next clip.